Hi, I'm Sophie Frederickson, your student body president.
And I'm Dr. Philip Buchholz, a professor at the University of South Carolina.
Would you suggest Blythewood students to become vaccinated, and why?
Yes, provided that they're over 16, they'll qualify for the Pfizer mRNA vaccine. The others are being reviewed now. And yes, I would definitely advise getting vaccinated. Number one, to protect them from contracting COVID and the small possibility of harm coming to a young person from the virus. But an even greater reason for young people to get vaccinated is to prevent them from accidentally harming someone else who's at risk by carrying the virus, not knowing, and kissing the proverbial grandmother, and then she gets COVID and dies. And this is a real hazard, and it's been happening everywhere. So yes, the vaccine is a very good idea for people of all ages.
To your knowledge, does the COVID-19 vaccine make one infertile?
No, and there's been many studies of 6 million people have been tracked since the rollout of the 3 vaccines for adverse events, and many people got pregnant during this time. So no, there's no effect on fertility from this vaccine that has been detected so far.
It has been suggested that the COVID-19 vaccine might be used to track your whereabouts. Is there any legitimacy to this claim?
No, this is nuts. There's no chip in the vaccine that Bill Gates or anybody else is interested in. Furthermore, people talk about the vaccine, and they don't realize that there's 3 different companies that are doing this, and they're competitors with each other. And if one of them was tracking you, the other 2 would say something about it. This is nonsense, okay? It's not a grand conspiracy by any one organization. These are individual companies that are competing for business to try to provide you with a healthcare product. And that kind of grand conspiracy is just not possible in this sort of situation.
Why was the COVID-19 vaccine produced and distributed much quicker than any other vaccine?
Because they've been working on this idea of RNA vaccines for the previous 20 years. Basic science have been working on this, planning for a virus to come along. And once the sequence of COVID-19 was published in January, it took Moderna about 15 minutes to go type it into their computer, and the RNA sequence was ready to go, and they could start churning it out. But there was a huge investment in basic science infrastructure and safety trials for mRNA vaccines against other antigens for many years that was just ready to go. So our investment in basic science it just paid off so that we were ready to do it. I know people, they like to imagine, some people like to imagine that since it happened so quickly, there must have been some plan to create it or something like that. That's just nonsense. Scientists just knew that a pandemic was coming, and they were ready for this one as soon as the sequence was available.
Could one be infected by the COVID-19 virus if they are vaccinated?
Infected, yes. So shortly after vaccination, your chances of becoming infected are decreased by about 95%. Over the next 6 to 7 months, your chances of being infected actually go up, or the protection goes down to maybe 70%, 60%. So the protection from infection does wane over time. The protection from serious illness or hospitalization or death is still really strong and doesn't seem to be waning so much. So 6 to 7 months out, you're still 90 to 95% protected from serious illness or death. However, there are a group of people who can become infected and have mild symptoms or pass it on to others if the vaccine is older than 200 days, for example. And that's why now they're recommending booster shots, is to prevent those kinds of infections. Even though people who have a 6-month-old vaccine are still very protected from disease and serious consequences, they still could transmit it to others. And so the big game here is to try to stop the spread of the virus to extinguish the pandemic, in addition to protecting individuals. So it's a good idea to get the 2 shots, and then if you're past 200 days to get your booster shot to protect others, just as much as to continue to protect yourself.
What are the effects of the COVID-19 virus on different age ranges of people, such as 12 to 20-year-olds? What is the effect on those who are in the age range of 40 to 60?
So the probability of death goes up with age pretty dramatically. People in the 16 to 25 to 30-year-old range, they have very low chances of death from COVID. This is true. The biggest hazard from COVID is myocarditis. So the virus actually causes an inflammation of the heart and can cause heart problems. It's a little bit dangerous. And that risk is low, but it is reasonably high. However, the real danger for the 16 to 30-year-old age group is that you might be one of the ones whom it kills. It kills some people in that age group just as efficiently as it does elderly people. And we don't really know who is who in advance. And so the vaccine will prevent that in the age group, and it'll prevent them from giving it to others as well. So it's a good idea.